Hello?
So today I'm going to be focused on, this is live stream number, what are we up to now? I think it's 16? 17. Live stream number 17. And so I'm going to be focused on basically finalizing my gameplay touches to this enemy called the Werecrab. Bought this from Unreal Marketplace. You know, it's amazing art. Super fortunate to have really talented people who have put their work up. So for the gameplay, I've designed it that from the back, it's not vulnerable to attack, but from the front, right around its belly, it is vulnerable. And so there you can see the different sound. Let's figure out these toads. Took some damage there. So here, you can see if I hit in the belly, it'll take damage, but in the back, it doesn't. So my goal, which is a bit tricky to get to, you can see there's, well, he did take damage there. I don't know how. Let's see if I, there we go, we get the hammer there, return it, and it'll take damage. So my goal with these crabs has been to have them walk backwards towards you, and then at a certain point they turn around, but this will be a bit complicated, and I have to think this through, because I can get them to focus on an arbitrary point. So if I put a point out here, I can get them to all focus on that, rotate that direction, stay looking at that direction, but what I can't, uh, and then I can have them turn around and look at the player. Having them look at the player is no problem. But what I want them to do is be focused exactly opposite the player. So if I'm here, then I want it to rotate directly opposite. And so it turns out that that rotation doesn't necessarily work perfectly. So that's where I'm trying to kind of get that going. So I've made a specific VR controller for them, and I use this set focus to direct where they're focusing. So one idea that I'm going to try now to have them look away is to take the inverse rotation of the find look at rotation, and I want to try and spawn an object for them to focus on, and later I want to try moving an object to that location rather than recreating it every time. But that's kind of the goal, is to take this rotation, which is the inverse of the look at rotation, and then spawn something that's basically 400 points in front of that. So maybe I can do this, maybe, okay, yeah, get forward vector. And then I can maybe just add, I'll try that. So it's finding the look at rotation, inverting it, getting the forward vector. This code was successfully moving that focus object. So if I get the forward vector, basically if I bring up the view, oh, well, this is the VR controller. Never mind, I won't bring up the viewport. But so I want that forward vector, and then I want like 200 from that, hopefully on just the x-axis. So let's do multiply vector. And we'll say we'll multiply the x value by 200. Just put it 200 points in front of that forward vector. And then that's what I want to add. No, that doesn't sound right. Well, let's just see what that returns for now. And just set that as the location, set a breakpoint here. And then we'll at least learn a bit of what that will do. So this value becomes -15. The forward vector, oh, I'm multiplying by 0. So first let's clear that right away. Rotate the world forward vector. I think I have to restart it. Okay, here we go. So let's see, if I go all the way back to here, the crab is at this location, 7674, 1745. My player is at this location, 7990, -5840. So this is the look at rotation. So on the x-axis, 0.97, on the y, 94. So you can see that's not a giant difference there on the x. And on the y, -1745, -5840. If we invert that, I'm surprised the roll changes. So let's see, then the get forward vector basically just takes that rotation, -0.07, it was, yeah, -0.07, -94. It's a bit different, but not too different. And so that becomes a value of where it shifted. And so basically, that's how much we'd want it to shift. So let's do x and y and give that a greater value, 200 as well, and then add that vector to this vector, which is the world location of that at the moment. So that means if it's looking in this direction, we get this direction. We multiply that vector by 200, or whatever value we'll want, on the x and y coordinates, and we ignore the z coordinate. We don't want it going up and down too much. Or we include the z in the 200. We'll have to think. And then we add that to the current world location of that focus object. So it's adding it the correct thing. We get that point. And basically, yeah, just relative to where the thing is, maybe we want to subtract it. I don't know, let's try adding. It's probably better, people who are much better equipped at math to handle this than I am right now, but we'll test this. Just see what it does. Okay. I'm gonna remove this breakpoint. And what I should do is eliminate the other option. So I want it to constantly be doing this and not be doing our random motion, so we can evaluate this easier and what it's doing. Okay, so you can see the point in front of the crab, so that's where it's focusing. You know, it's probably a lot easier to focus on just one crab and delete the others. Okay, one crab. So it's constantly adding to it when sometimes we might want it to be subtracting. And he's also not focused on it after it's moved. Let's double check the focus. Hmm. So let's try that instead. Moving the actual actor, not just the sprite. And then I'm thinking ahead. First, I just want to test this, but maybe we'll capture the initial position, which is the object centered, and then add this delta every time relative to the initial position. But for now, let's just continually add it and verify that our crab is following that focus. Okay, let's see. Not working as intended, but very hilarious. All right. So let's test what we said. Maybe I can just have it set focus. Every fifth wave or something. Just create a variable, make it an integer, focus counter. If it equals 5, so basically every fifth wave will reset the focus counter to 0 and execute. It's getting a little cluttered. Probably have to clean this up a bit. All right. Here it sets it to +1. By default, it starts at 0. And if it's true, it moves the thing and sets the focus. If it's false, then it doesn't do anything. So where did it go? I've lost sight of it. Let's increase the scale. Make it super huge. Try this first. So it's going. Seems to be, yeah, it just keeps getting wider. So what we want to do is capture its initial point and then try to keep adding that offset and then resetting it to its initial point. So the very first time, we'll say do once. Do once. Very first time, we get the world location. I suppose we want get actor location actually. And there as well, we should replace this, I believe. And there it's just the delta that we want. So I don't think we need that add. Can add the z as well. Okay. So here we want to promote that to a variable. And we'll call this variable initial grab focus location. And so we'll do once here. And that will never change. Set actor. So basically every time we set it to there, and then we add the offset. So reset it there, then we add an offset, which is that forward vector. So every time it's resetting. So if that's completed, then do that. So it does this do once, gets to that, it's closed, then it does that. So it's getting pretty crazy. Alright, so that's resetting it each time to its original position, and then adding the offset when it needs to. Let's see what happens. So what is positive is that it's not shooting out. Yeah, look at that. Perfect circle. He's just resetting focus too quickly. So, hmm. So he has this rotation. Hmm. I'm gonna test their performance real quick of just having 5 of these things going on, because if their performance isn't there, there's no point in doing this anyway. We'll have to find a different way. just watching in VR preview. Seems fine. It's not fun to look at, but it's alright. It's a little fun to look at, actually, if you like epilepsy. Alright, so they're rotating too quickly. Let's take a look at just kind of what we're finding whenever it does get to there. Okay, the initial location. Moves it to there. Makes that delta. I think what I want to do is move it around a circle. And I'm not doing that, I'm just moving it. Gonna take a break, go to the bathroom, come back. So one thing I'm going to do first is search if there's someone who's already posted how to do this. And specifically what I'm searching is get the actor to look, get a character to look away from your player. Because I guarantee someone else has already done this. And as much as I enjoy math puzzles, it's just kind of a waste of time to be reinventing the wheel myself, so let's do a search and see what we find. Unreal Engine rotate enemy character to look away from player. Engine actor away from player. So let's think about it. Here I am making it relative, but perhaps I should just be spawning it externally instead. Okay, so I've got the inverse of that. So let's say if I just take that rotator and I just multiply it by like a huge number. So let's say 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. Could even make it 20. On my do once, instead of getting this, I create an actor. Let's delete that. Delete these. Spawn actor from class. Let's call it focus. Points. And just say wherever. Doesn't really matter. So there it makes it. For now, let's leave this logic off, so it just always does it. And let's set this actor's location. Set that as the crab focus. And then here, we're setting the location of the crab focus. We're taking the inverse of the lookat vector, multiplying that value by 20,000, so it goes a super long way. And here on the transform, let's compile, make it scale really big, so we see it. All right, so every time it's setting its location, not to the initial location, but to this forward vector. We're getting rid of that. And then we're setting focus to, oh, what's going on there? There we go. Don't want a breakpoint. We're setting focus to crab focus. Just delete that stuff. All right, let's see what that looks like. You can see it in the distance. Okay, so first things first, I guess, let's unattach that. Where am I spawning that thing? All right, on begin play, we're no longer spawning a crab focus. Let's make this 10,000 so it's a bit easier to see. Because it does appear to be working. Make it 2 crabs as well. So there's his focus. He's not readjusting though. Let's make it 500. Maybe it'll be right in front of them. So there's their focuses. Here it's good. So I'm moving. They don't appear to be updating though. Right, because I'm just setting them at that position. But what I want is the position relative to the crab location. Okay, so I want to get the actor location, and then in front of it, I want to get this. Is that what I want? Let's try it out. Let's try it out. Yeah, that looks good so far. Got pretty close to them. Let me give it a bit more space. Looks a bit off. It should probably only be making this readjustment like once every 20 times. Let's try adding this logic to it. So once every 20 times, it actually changes the location. Is it not triggering now? Okay, so it does that. See if it ever sets a new focus now. It's not hitting that. Why not? Why not? Okay. Good. if I set it to 5. That's good. Okay, so those are triggering. I think we might have had a winner here. Let's see. Yeah, I like it. Now let's test performance. With a lot of these guys going crazy. First, they're marching forward. Okay. And they should start out doing this as well. On the do once, should go straight to there. All right, we successfully have crabs who walk with their back towards you. Can't get away. Nice. All right, cool. So we should test destroying the actor, making sure its pointer thing gets destroyed as well. So let's see. Oh, my back is killing me. Definitely need a chair upgrade at some point. What am I looking for? Event hit. Yeah, where trigger death sequence, set simulate physics. I don't think it needs all that stuff. Where's my event hit? Yeah, not gonna play an animation. All right, let's try it. Okay, it's still alive. To remind myself how this works. Oh, I have nothing happening on base enemy character for a trigger death sequence. But on the toad, I do have stuff happening. So basically it just needs to do like delay 2 seconds, destroy actor. Alright. I don't see any negative to adding that to the base class, and that can be overridden if it needs to be by the child classes. Let's kill some crabs. So those are still around. So those need to be destroyed. Ooh. So here I'm spawning a crab focus point. That actor. Oh, excuse me. An actor should take a reference of its crab. Setting the spawning crab. And where's that? There it is. Where crab enemy character. Doesn't like it. Probably because I didn't compile this. Now it likes it. Alright, and so when one of these guys dies, let's override the base character function inside this one. Just put it over here. Then get All actors of class crab focus point for each. Get spawning crab. We should do this before it destroys itself, otherwise that's not going to work. Equals self. Equals object. Boosh. Branch that out. It's true. Destroy actor. And then do a delay. And destroy self. Hopefully that's all it takes. Now let's kill some more crabs. Nope. Not liking it. Alright. Crab focus point. See if there's ever a match. Oh. Well, that's not gonna fly. Trigger death sequence. Now we're overriding. And now it'll trigger. Thank you. And now we don't have any of those focus points except the one we spawned way up there. Alright, cool. So I think the crabs are mostly ready to go now. We've got a custom sound for hitting the shield on the back. We've got a different sounds for hitting their front. Oh right, I wanted to finish their silly movement. Okay, so how were we doing this before? What we want them to do is move like side to side and face you at times. And we also want them to turn around and not do this focus thing once they get close to you. So it's like that, they're back to you, and then they get close, and it's like, wah! And you're scared of the crabs. Alright, so what are we doing? So first of all, let's look for our branch. For the should move randomly. Okay, so now when that's true, we're going to go back to this other kind of movement. I wanted to make this more dramatic. Let's just try this out as is for now. Crab does its little crab shuffle. Still feels a bit off from how I'd want it to be. Let's give them even more time. Just watch this behavior. Well, that feels about right. I just kind of look back at you and then move randomly. Okay, so, oh, error. Attempted to access crab focus point C3 via property crab focus. Ah, so maybe I should take out that delay. Or I should put it at the front. See if I can hit them with a giant sword. Did appear to work. Got his ass stuck. Okay, yeah, no errors there, so that's good. Feels a bit off. Okay, so we've got these. What do we want to do now? There's some other thing I had to, oh yeah, when they get close to you, then I want them to basically run towards you, like that other movement point, and look at you. So, back to the AI controller. This is the point where it considers doing that random motion. So I want to check its distance from you And then if it's not far, we want it to run towards you, basically. So let's see. We'll get its location minus vector, and then get the length. So one vector, your location, the other vector, the crab location. The difference, take the length of that vector. Check to see its value. Let's say if it's greater than 2000. Try that one out for size. Maybe 1500. And if that's true, we want it to be running towards you and not a random direction. So we kind of want a combination of these. So it's moving towards you. You are the target actor. Player controller, there you are. Moving towards you. And we also want to set the speed. And we want to set the focus. Oh. Excuse me. Then it does those others. Okay. Let's see how that plays out. Ah. Doesn't feel like it's quite getting on top of my character. Let's try with scale 1. Scale 2 is more fun though. Yeah, I mean, that... Okay, I can't get far enough away now. Come on, let me back off you. Okay, yeah, they go back to being dopey. Oh, nice. Yeah, it gives you like just enough time to counter them. And if you're backing up, that's the issue. Is like if I'm constantly backing up, it kind of doesn't quite feel like they're hitting me. But I guess I'll have to test that. Alright. It's pretty much what I intended though. 1500 seems like a fairly good number for both scales. Ah! Yeah, I mean, if you're standing still, that attack seems okay. But if you're not, I mean, it would still glance off you. Yeah, okay, so what I need now are sounds for when the toad hits you, and sounds for when the crab hits you. Because that's really missing at this point, is that feeling of getting hit. So I'm going to look up sounds that I think could be workable for that, and purchase some from Audio Jungle. So when the toad hits you, when this guy hits you, it's with a claw, double claw smash attack. And when the toad hits you, it's with a flail. Not sure why my music didn't start there, but it did the other time. Let's just review his attack animation. So it's like a spiky flail that hits you. So let's see, game sounds, flail. See what I can find.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Audio Jungle.
But there's so much of that when you're hitting stuff.
Audio Jungle. 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 Audio Jungle.
Makes it sound like your armor is getting hit.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Potentially.
Audio Jungle. 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 jungle,
I like the ring of that one.
jungle, jungle,
So do I want a grunt or an interesting sound like that when you get hit? Let's listen to some grunts.
jungle, jungle, jungle,
Those are pretty good.
jungle, 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 audio 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 jungle.
I don't know if I want that sound when you get hit. I'm gonna listen to like the Zelda sound effects. Zelda get hit sound effect. Let's see. Well, that's old school. That's like original NES Zelda get hit. YouTube get hit sound effects. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta research this more later. I'm kind of leaning towards those clank sounds when you get hit, so it sounds like someone is wearing armor. But I'm not ready to pull the trigger on one yet. Alright, I'm gonna go take a quick break, stretch out my back, walk around, be back in a bit.